Welcome to the Change Energizer Hot Seat Podcast. This is the place where leaders are dropped into the hot seat about high-stake wins and reveal the Trust X factor behind their triumphs. I'm your host, Scott Carley, the Trust Energizer. I believe the confidence people have in the way you show up, your character and expertise is the real game changer. When trust is high, teams don't just perform, they pull off legendary wins. Today, our guest is Jennifer Ivey from Keystone Bank. You call Jennifer when you want a strategic financial partner to grow your business. So Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Scott. It's Friday.
Yes, that's right. It is Friday.
I'm really excited to be on here because I have heard so many great things about your book and this model from my colleagues. So I was excited to take a deep dive into it and explore it for myself.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate you doing it because we're going to dive into something that everybody has been asking about. So there's a couple of things that are really important about this one. For some reason, most of my audience or most of my guests have been men. And, I looked at that and I went, uh-oh. I need to do something different here. And thank you for answering the call. And
happy to help in the female perspective.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
You and I met at ACG, Association of Corporate Growth. It's a luncheon that happens all over the country, but it happens here in Austin once a month. What do you remember about that?
I remember that you always stand out in the best way. You always present immaculately. You're dressed to perfection, but you have a statement piece. So you always know how to command the room and command attention. And I remember meeting you, and then we set up like a brief, 30-minute get to know you little call after that. And I was just really impressed with your demeanor and your networking skills and how easy you are to talk to.
Well, thank you. Can you tell I'm blushing? I don't know if you can notice that, but
I expect that payment to come in the mail this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Checks in the mail.
There we go.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. ACG is a really neat place to go. There's a lot of great people there. But I noticed some things about you. You really move your way around the room. Mm-hmm. And you're usually, when you're meeting people, you're also introducing somebody that's with you or whatever it is. And I just think that's so neat.
I love to connect people, and that has been a founding philosophy of Keystone Bank. If you think about, Keystone, it's that little piece in the middle of an arch that supports the two sides and brings the two sides together. So that's kind of how we like to position ourselves in the market is we like to go out and connect people. I may not be your final banker, or you may need something that's not bank related, but I know a lot of different people in the Austin market and I like to connect people together. So that's where I kind of thrive and have fun with that piece.
You just painted a really great picture that will stick in our mind as that Keystone banker. Oh, I love that. Way to go, man. I keep doing that when you're talking to people. I love that. That's good.
Well, that comes from the top down. I mean, everybody I meet in the community, they always say wonderful things about our CEO. And, he has an open door policy. He loves to just brainstorm with businesses. I mean, and that's expertise you don't get just anywhere, to be able to sit down and have someone talk through what's going on in the industry and your company.
Yeah, sometimes it can be very difficult to actually get to the banker.
Right.
And so thank you for that. I really love it.
Yeah.
Well, when you and I talked about you being on the podcast, I asked you if you would be willing to take us through a trust credit score of somebody. And of course, the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're not naming anybody out. We don't want to do that. But the trust credit score is used in several ways. But one of it is for when you're looking at somebody who is, ready as an MVP or they're ready to move up to another department, and you're trying to figure out, who is that? Not just who is that, but who's qualified. That's what this is for, so that you can validate your feelings. You can take it to the board or other people and validate why you're making this decision. And it's just super helpful. And then the other side is when, oh my God, there's been a trust crash and somebody messed up, or you're just feeling weird about something, and you can pull the card out and you can score it that way as well. And so we're gonna try to do both of those today if we have enough time. So
Okay.
does that sound good with you? You okay with that?
That sounds like a perfect plan.
Okay, good. Now, as we get started, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody in our audience see kind of what we're talking about. So, this is the scoring. Here's officially the Trust Credit Score card, and it's got 5 points on it, and then a box beside each one for you to score how good it is. 1 is at the very bottom, 10 is at the very top. So part of a way to score somebody, you want to, as I said, choose one or the other, a promotion, next level, MVP, something like that, or a trust breakdown. So the scoring, for instance, if it's, if there's a critical trust failure, this person just, something they did, they lied, or they did something that they weren't supposed to, or they don't have a critical skill, that would be a 1 to 3. That's a critical trust failure, almost impossible to recover from.
Okay.
A 4 to 6 is moderate trust issues. That means there's a gap, some integrity or reliability concerns. They're just not ready for promotion yet, but they're there, and let's see what we can do to move them up. A 7 to an 8 is what we would call average or a passing score. So this is generally sound, though consistency or their depth may be developing. So they're passing, but they're not ready to go up. And then a 9 or a 10 is like, they're great. I mean, these are exemplary in many areas, and they've just done fantastic. Now, one of the things that I mentioned in the book, as well as just in conversations with others, nobody gets a 10 unless you've known them for at least a year, and in some cases longer. Because, man, a 10 has to be earned. All of these have to be earned in behavior. So we want to, we don't give 10s away. You have to really done something exceptionally again and again and again to get a 10. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, so are you ready to go through the scoring?
Let's try it.
Let's start off. Now, you have somebody in mind here. Can you see the whole score on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have somebody in mind, and let's just start off with number 1. Their vibe is on point, with good body language, confident posture, consistent eye contact, genuine smile, clean and professional attire, open gestures. So tell me what you found about this person in 1.
Okay, so on this one, this person, her appearance was always meticulous. She was very professional. She presented well. She was articulate, prompt. So everything about her appearance to me indicated that she took her job seriously and she was ready to work. So that I appreciated. And then her demeanor herself, like when she was engaging or talking to someone, was very mindful and thoughtful. You could tell she was really working to draw the correct words and word things accurately and concisely. So that I appreciated about her, and I wound up scoring her a 9 in this category.
Oh man, that's pretty good.
She was great. Yes, she deserved that. So
Yeah. All right, I love that. I think that's good. And you're really thinking about their vibe and their body language, and all of that is a real thing. Okay, that's good. So let's go down to number 2. Are they straight up solid? Their motives. So clear intentions, aligned goals, transparency, consistency, straightforward communication. So tell me what you observed and how you scored area number 2.
Okay, so this person's motives were very transparent. She had two goals in mind. One was mastery of the department. It was a relatively new area for her. So it was a roll my sleeves up. I want to learn as much about this department as I can. And then promotion. She was very upfront when she came into the company. I want advancement. I want to align myself in ways that give me advancement opportunities. So, with those two things, I knew that she was positioning herself for success, which in turn also positioned the department for success. And the relationships that I brought in as a sales officer and handed off to her, I felt confident that she was positioned well and her motives were truly to do the best that she could do with these clients.
Awesome. Awesome. So what I'm hearing is, there used to be a phrase, he's a company man, she's a company woman. So
Right.
would you say she's a company woman?
Definitely a team player. Yes.
Awesome. So what'd you
Absolutely.
score her?
I scored her 9 again.
Man, okay. Way to go.
Yeah. I
And it
have to
makes you
tell you,
feel
like,
good.
I interviewed her. So it was really fun to watch her progress because when I interviewed her, there was a little reluctance because she didn't have direct experience in that department. But then just combined with her motives and that attitude of just wanting to dive in, I had no lack of confidence in her abilities.
That is awesome. Now I have to ask the question. I mean,
Hmm.
I just have to ask this. By any chance, were you using the trust credit score as a guide, or did you
No,
not have that yet?
I did not have that tool. I wish that I had because it would have been a valuable tool. We had several candidates, and it would have been an extremely valuable tool because this candidate I really trusted from the beginning. The other candidate, my spidey senses were up, and I didn't have a way to appropriately articulate that besides just saying, I don't feel good about that person. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, but I don't feel good about them. And this would have given me a model to kind of frame that in a way that people could have understood better. So,
Awesome. Awesome. And that's exactly why we created it. So that
yes,
you're not just dealing with feelings, you have something
right.
more concrete to make your decisions about. Well, way to go. So that's a 9 and a 9. All right. Number
All right.
3.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. Values. They keep their word. They have shared vibes and values. They walk their talk. They own their mistakes, respect and fairness with the people they work with. So, how did she rate on area number 3?
Okay, so on this one, this is kind of like the core value to me. And so I measured this mainly on follow through, especially in client situations. How much did they follow through as needed? And this person just had immaculate skills and follow up. Uh, we had a
Right.
very difficult technical issue. We had a client that was like they get their statements one month, and the next month, suddenly they would not get their statements. And this is all online, all digital. And we couldn't figure out what was going on. And, there were a million little plausible explanations for it, but it wasn't the solution. And this person really did a deep dive into this problem. They escalated it to the vendor. They kept saying, no, that just doesn't sound right. They kept following up and kept following up. And then she did find, a significant system issue or parameter that had not been set up correctly. And
Wow.
had she not wanted to follow through on that and get the right answer for the client, it would have kept going. So, in my mind, she was able to prioritize something as critical and determine that it was worthy and needed that type of follow up. So
I
I
love
scored
that.
her
She
very
didn't.
high in that as well, because that's imperative to me to know that my clients, if they have an issue, it's going to be resolved for them.
Yeah, that's really great because when professionals, business banks, they
Right.
just give an easy, no, it's not our problem. Nobody likes that, or no,
Yeah.
we've gone as far as we need to go. that doesn't work. But when they resolve the issue, that's what we're looking for. So, yeah, I love that. She's on the same page with values. All right, well, let's go to number four.
Okay.
And number four, are they built for this skill set, expertise? So they have proven expertise, industry certifications, curiosity with problem solving skills. That was kind of mentioned in the last one. Continuous learning, strong recommendations. So tell me how she scored on number four.
Well, again, she scored really high on this one. She wanted mastery, so that was very important to her. She, on her own time, started pursuing a certification. We have a certified treasury professional designation. So that was above and beyond because it's like a CPA exam. It's a significant amount of study, prep
Wow.
time, and you can't do that while you're working. And so it's an investment in yourself and that field. So she was pursuing that on her own. And she just always communicated that she really wanted to keep learning. So I scored her high on that one as well. I scored her
So
an 8.
an eight. Okay, that's good. Eight gives room for improvement.
Right.
So I like that. I like the way you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, number five, they've got receipts. So this is the track record. You've got some history, consistent success, positive outcomes, long term reliability, a reputation for excellence, awards, proven impact. So, how did you score her on number five?
Well, so this one was a little bit tougher, mainly because she was new in this role, and it's not an entry level role by any means, but it's a role that frequently leads to the next step. So, and then she was just, relatively new. So there wasn't a long time to develop a lengthy track record. So I kind of had to look at her very short term. And in the short term, based on what we talked about above with the follow up, everything that like landed in her plate or on her area was always resolved successfully. Clients would ask for her by name. She took care of her clients. And probably the bigger thing on this area that I measured her on was adaptability. We This was an area, a department that we were growing. It was in transition. We were developing different policies and procedures, looking at different ways to do things. And she was very much part of that process. She wanted to be involved. She, if we did make a change that maybe didn't seem to make sense up front, she was willing to give it a try, willing to give it a go, and always had a positive attitude about it. But on the flip side, she would communicate and give us really honest feedback, like this is not working because of this, but
Good.
always with a good attitude.
Good, good. Well, I like what you're saying there. We have to look at the track record, and I'm thinking sometimes, we can go on LinkedIn, look at the other jobs that they've had, and see
Right.
if we can see anything there. And sometimes that is a good way to do it. I know that as a person who's been an entrepreneur my whole life,
Hmm.
uh, there was a time during my coaching, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or so, I started looking around and thinking, okay, Scott, you haven't won any awards because you don't work for a company that gives awards. Yikes. You need some awards on your track record to validate the things that you've been doing. So there were some things that I joined, I joined a BNI, and then as I joined it, I moved up. I was a two-term president for BNI chapters, and then I became a director in the region, and then I won awards for things at the general conference. Okay, now I have a track record that somebody can validate. So
Right.
if somebody's an entrepreneur and they're not creating some receipts and track record, they certainly should do that.
Absolutely. And sometimes that was a good point. Sometimes it's not directly correlated to that role that they're serving in at that moment in time, but it's an overall track record. Did they show up? Did they perform successfully in each role prior that led them to where they are?
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. So what was her total score? And then divide by 5. Did you do the math on that?
I've already divided it out.
All
She
right.
was
What did
an
she score?
8.4. So
8.4.
yes.
Wow, that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah. She was just very impressive. It was clear that she loved the subject, wanted to learn, and had a positive attitude. And as a result, I could trust her with my clients. And, I could send things to her. I didn't have to follow up. I knew my clients loved her and that she was taking care of them.
Awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
Now, here's the next question.
Okay.
Did you show her her score?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So I don't blame you.
Uh-huh.
And I think it should be up to every individual to decide whether or not you want to do that.
Mm,
And you just have to decide. So if I do that, what's the impact going to be?
right.
And in the book, we talk about courageous conversations. Well, there
Mhm.
was no need to have a courageous conversation. You scored her so high on everything.
Right.
Sometimes it validates, oh, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. They have confidence in me. You have to decide what you're going to do about that. And there's no right or wrong. You just have to
Right.
decide about it. So I'm impressed with her and you. Way to go.
She is impressive. Yes.
All right, now let's turn the page.
Okay.
Yikes. Let's go to a crash, a trust crash. And
Okay.
this is where somebody has done something, and whether you can put your finger on it, but you just feel something is not right here. And I'm going to have to score them so that I can validate to myself and to my superiors, anybody else, why I'm taking the actions I'm taking. Right?
Right.
So remember back up here, 1 to 3, critical failure. I mean, failure almost unrecoverable. 4 to 6, moderate trust. There's a gap. There's a big gap, and we need to fix that
Right.
for sure. 7 to 8, average. Average passing score, 9 or 10, excellent. So based on that, you have somebody else, and you're not going to tell us who. And so so tell me about number one. And their vibe is out of sync. Body language, they're avoiding eye contact, they're fidgeting, very close posture, disabled appearance. Body language is off. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, on this one, and I think you and I've talked about this before, especially being in banking, it's still a relatively conservative industry. So it's body language, but it's also overall appearance and presentation. And this person was just extremely casual. Casual attire, didn't invest in work related clothes. Um, and also, like, their language was very casual, wasn't mindful, wasn't well thought out. And this person also had a tendency to be very gossipy. Uh,
Ooh.
you could see this person across the room kind of huddled up with somebody else. And this person developed the reputation of being, someone you did not tell something to in confidence.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it was an overall with this one, just a more casual, didn't present like they were ready for work or took the role extremely seriously.
Okay, so what kind of score did you give their vibe?
I gave them a 5.
A 5. Boy, I think you're
Uh,
being generous.
well, I mean, there was a lot of youth on their side as well.
Okay.
So I think some of that is learned over time.
Good point.
Mhm.
You're looking at maturity,
Right.
and this is where they are right now. They can grow out of it. I'm so thankful people gave me some room on that kind of
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
too.
absolutely. Me too. I cringe
Good.
when I think back on certain things.
Yeah, good point. Well, a 5, that's good. I like that. All right, the next one, number 2,
Mhm.
something feels shady. Motives, hidden agendas, manipulating people, frequent changes, conflict of interest, vague statements. So, on motives and something feels shady, tell me about that.
Well, the motive was like in contrast to my other person that wanted like mastery, the motive on this one was just paycheck. It was a job. It wasn't career advancement at all. And when this person would convey goals or just even in casual conversation, it was always like, well, I'm here for now. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. It was, again, probably a little bit of a lack of maturity there. But the other thing is this person was very quick to define their job. Like, this is my job. I'll take care of that. That's not my job. And would push things off on others as well. So that was a negative, that this person did not take responsibility or didn't want to grow and reach outside of their role.
Yeah, definitely not a team member. Doesn't sound
No,
like a team member. I do
no,
my
I'm
job,
there
you
from
do your
eight to
job.
five, and that's it, and I'm going to sit and do my job. And this person, was a little, when they were gossiping around, they were kind of in their own area. They didn't strategically network. They didn't invest in building relationships within the company.
Ah,
Just very into themselves, and had an air of negativity.
yeah. Okay, that is really a great explanation. And what did you score them?
I scored them a 5.
A 5. Okay, yeah, man. They're just that's
Yeah.
in the middle, and
Yeah.
it's a problem that has to be addressed.
Right.
So very good. I like that. Okay, so number 3 maybe ties into some of what you were saying as well.
Right.
Um, their actions don't add up. Integrity, you know, conflicted values, they break promises, they're inconsistent actions, dishonest, avoids accountability. Oh, that's not my problem, it's somebody else's.
Right.
So tell me about number 3.
Well, and again, I kind of go back to, in my environment, follow up, follow through with clients, follow up. And this person, and this is kind of how I like to describe it, took the first available no in every situation. Like, no, we can't do that, or no, I can't do that. So there was always frustration on the client part because, they could, they expected you to figure out something for them instead of just saying no. And so I frequently got looped back in. A situation would get escalated back to me. Other team members would be frustrated because somebody always had to follow behind this person and make sure the situation was resolved. And just a huge lack of accountability. It was it's a system issue. It's not my problem. It's a system issue. There's nothing I can do about it. Or I told the client that the client didn't listen to me. Instead of going that next step and really having a critical conversation with the client, and saying, okay, let's find an option for you, an alternative.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, what was the score?
That was a 4.
Yeah, that's a 4. That dipped down another notch, didn't it?
Because that's critical. That was the heart of what that department was supposed to do, was to take care of clients. So
Yeah.
that one obviously had a little more weight.
Yeah, I love that. There's a book called The 1 Minute Manager. It's been out for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And in it talks about the 1 minute manager, the boss, comes in and for the first 6 weeks, man, he's just right with them, helping them learn everything. And
Right.
then, 8 or 9 or 10, 12 weeks later, somebody comes back and says, oh, I got a problem. And the boss says, okay, well, I hired you to solve problems. So go solve that problem, come back to me with a solution, and then we can talk about it. Sounds like this person wasn't interested in solving problems.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Just knocking that 8 to 5, and really, in contrast to the other person who wanted that escalated issue, that complex task, this person did not, and it was
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Wow. That was good. That was good. Okay. I guess now we're down to was it number 4? Is that right?
Yeah, skill set.
Yeah. So are they even built for this? Skill set, lack
Mm-hmm.
of experience, inconsistent performance, skill set, poor communication, low curiosity, avoidance of challenges. Sounds like number 3 and 4 tying together with this person?
Well, and what's sad about this, Scott, is this person was a very bright person. She was a very fast learner. When we hired her, our department has a lot of different systems. She was able to quickly dive in and learn these systems. So competence was on her side. She was intelligent and competent. It was just more of an attitude like, this is good enough.
Okay, then tell me how you scored her on number 4, because that's very interesting.
I gave her a 6 because when she wanted to, she could resolve the issues and she could work through the problems. It was just purely a lack of desire.
Okay, audience, are you listening to this? This person has the skill. They're a fast learner. They could do it, but their attitude sabotaged them.
Absolutely.
And we have to separate those things, and that's how we come up with our conclusions. So great point. Got 6 on number 4. Number 5, I'm not seeing any receipts or wins. Frequent failures, incomplete projects. How did they, tell me about that? How did they score?
Well, again, this one was a little bit harder due to the department and the nature of the department and the lack of experience going into it. So for me, it kind of went back down to adaptability and being that team player and getting the wins within your department and within the company. And while this person was very competent and could do their job adequately, the attitude and the adaptability and the tendency to reflect a negative attitude really kind of undermined all of their abilities. So I had trouble scoring them on that one, but I wound up giving her a 5 on that one.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't have if you didn't complete projects, and if there's negative feedback, frequent failures, then yeah,
Right.
we hire people to follow through and solve the problem. And if we give them stuff and they bring it back to us and it's incomplete, it's not really done right, we just have to send it right back and do more with it. So, okay, so what was her total score?
Her overall was a 5. Her rank was a 5.
A 5. Yikes.
So definitely, I wouldn't say, it's not a critical trust factor because she had the ability. It was a pure, she needed to modify certain behaviors. And then she could have, moved up to the next level.
Tell me what you're learning from this score and what you now feel like you have to help you out.
Well, I feel like I have a tool because a lot of times, I think we mentioned it earlier, you have a sense, like a spidey sense. Someone's going to be a good fit, someone's not, but you just can't articulate why. And so now I feel like I have a tool going forward where I can score them on each category. And when they score lower on something, then I can use that to articulate why I'm hesitating on that person. Or, evaluating them after they've already been brought on, I can use this to give them guidance to improve the score. And I like in your book that you even offer suggestions and tools to help improve the scores. So I feel like I have something that I can utilize on both the front end and managing an employee for their long-term success as well.
Yeah, I love that. And that's exactly what we want to see happen is that,
Right.
You're given a tool so that now you can make a good score. You can score somebody. And then once you have it, if you feel like they're in a place where this could be corrected, then you can have the courageous conversation. All that's in the book. We'll cover that on another video, but you can have that courageous conversation to say, we hired you to do this. And if you can raise that score, then we can promote you.
Right.
We can move you up in the company. And, we hope that's what you want. And so I love that. I'm glad you found it useful.
Well, and it's valuable feedback for them because if you can give them something that you can quantify, it's easier for them to digest and understand than a manager just saying, I don't know why it's not working. So this is a tool for both the managers and the employees as well. And I wish somebody had had this tool when I was going up to the ranks years ago. It's valuable feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that it resonated with you. Is there anything that you would like to say to our audience about, what you would recommend them to do about this, or what would you say to our audience today about?
I would say if you don't have the book, I recommend everybody gets the book and walks through the model, because until you walk through it with somebody in mind, it's kind of an abstract. And I think when we had coffee, I was even struggling to understand a little bit some of the scoring. But when you sit down and walk through your examples and the model and in its entirety, then you can really understand what it's doing and you can understand how valuable the tool is.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that's exactly right. And audience, hello, you're watching the video. So you're able to be here with us. Jennifer's been in the hot seat. She had to get the
I survived
scorecard
the hot
out.
seat.
And she did a great job. Watch this video again and again so that you can understand how Jennifer was thinking based on the scorecard and the reasoning that she had. Also, you'll see the scoring system, and that's really what this is all about. We're here to help you be more effective. And if you need a banker, if you need a strategic financial partner, I know a great one, Jennifer Ivey from Keystone Bank. And hopefully, having heard her talk about how she reasons things and her judgment skills, you'll say, that's the kind of woman I want to talk to when I need a strategic partner for my business. So is there anything that you want to add to that before we call it a day?
No, I think you've captured everything wonderfully. And as always, I've enjoyed my time with you, Scott.
So thank you very much for joining us for the Change Energizer Hot Seat. And if you need a speaker, or if you would like the Trust credit score to come to your office and to your company, just reach out to me. You can find me at calltheenergizer.com, book a call with me, and I'd love to find out exactly where you are and how we can help you. So thank you very much for coming, Jennifer. Thank you for being with us, and enjoy the rest of your Friday.
I will. Thank you. Happy Friday, everybody.